Hello. Oh, there we are. Okay. This may be the simplest quarterly members meeting that we've ever done at Gateway Bible Fellowship. But this should go pretty quick. So what we'll do tonight, we'll go through the ballot. We just have a couple ballot items to go through. We'll have a quick update from staff, and then we will touch on the financials, get an update from the building committee, and then take a look at our ministry opportunity chart. So it should go pretty quick. So for the ballot, I'd like to call the meeting to order. So for everyone that is a resident member of Gateway Bible Fellowship, please stand if you're over 18, and we'll hand out all the ballots. So Eric's handing some out back there. Nick. And if you can, hand out both the ballot sheet, and I think we have a financial sheet as well. All right, so we'll start off the ballot by simply, Candace will read the minutes out from last quarterly members meeting.
All right, the minutes from the October 29th, 2023 annual business meeting. Our meeting was called to order by Mike DeVries at 6:42 p.m. Motions on the ballot included the approval of the minutes from the July 23rd business meeting and the October 1st special business meeting. The leadership recommended that the following be accepted by church membership by way of testimony: Micah and Danette Miller, Charles and Barbara Aiden. The leadership recommended that the following be removed from church membership: Molly Finnegan, Jenny Loper. The leadership recommended that the congregation elect the following deacons for the 2024 year: Scott Adams, Andy Broadworth, Dennis Cooper, Nathan Korkamp, Eric Goslovich, and Mick Pickett. The leadership recommended that the congregation nominate the following men to the office of lay elder: Jim Blank, Brad Gomer, and Ian Hunter. Approval of the NRBC 2024 operating budget, and a motion to amend the Constitution. The elders unanimously recommended to the congregation of Northern Ridge Baptist Church that beginning January 1st, 2024, we formally change Article 1 of the Constitution from Northern Ridge Baptist Church to Gateway Bible Fellowship. All motions passed. Ballots were tabulated by Jared Kidder and Andy Broadworth. The meeting was adjourned by Pastor Mike DeVries at 7:22 p.m. These minutes have been recorded and respectfully submitted by Candace Hunter.
Okay, so please take action on the first ballot item. Is there any questions related to the minutes? No, okay. So please take action on the first ballot item, yes or no, if those are approved. Okay, the next item, Moses and Karen Liu. The Lius were at our church previously. They had moved to Missouri or Arkansas? Missouri. And when they came back to Colorado, they settled down in the Elizabeth area. So they are no longer attending the church, no longer under the oversight of the elders here, and we are releasing them from membership so they can go join another church. No issues. It's Mike has been in contact with Moses, and he knows that we're doing this tonight. Leadership is recommending that we remove them from our church membership. So please take action on that one as well. So yeah, that was the easiest ballot that I think we've ever gone through. So once you're done, please fold your ballot and hand it into the center. And then deacons, if you can tabulate those and count them. Be good. Yeah, definitely shorter than the last one. Okay, so while they're gathering those up, Ryan, were you going to do an update tonight, or is it just Candace? Just Candace. All right, so Candace, all yours.
So Mike actually wanted me to do an update on our prayer sheet, and he was very kind in one of our meetings with him, and he said, let's make your job a little easier, and so that you're not generating the whole prayer sheet. So Rylan's going to put it up here for us, but all he wanted me to do was just show you on the home page, if you haven't been to the website, you can go on the home page and you scroll down. There is a button that says Submit Prayer Requests. And we're doing this for several reasons. One, it's in your words, which it always made me a little nervous. People were like, hey, Candace, put this on the prayer sheet, you know. And then he needed to go pray for it. And it's like, is this right? Like, I think so. So it's good that it's in your words, and we can put these on there anytime. So it's not just like it coming out every Wednesday. You can go see that whenever. So that's why we did that. It's on there for 1 week, so I usually go in like Tuesday nights, and I'll delete the ones from the week prior. And I love that we read our Constitution together, because it says that we will pray for each other. Well, I can't do that unless I know what to pray for you for. So go in and you have to make an account. This is separate from the directory. The directory is a separate beast that we do our best with. The website, several of our pages are secure, so if you want to go look at small groups, you have to log in for that. If you want to go look at, so here, thanks, Rylan, this is our home page right here. You click Submit a Prayer Request and Praise, or if you just want to view them. It's going to ask you to log in. If you haven't done it before, you can create an account. All you want to do is put in your email address, and it can be any password. It has to be 12 long. I can't control that. But once you do that, you just click Submit, and there's like 4 or 5 in leadership or whatever that get it, and I get one too, and so I can click, yeah, you're approved, and then you can go in and see those. You probably do want to use your actual email, because then I can go in and reset it for you if your brain forgets it. So yeah, use that, because we'd like to, there's like, I don't know, 1 or 2 things on there now. So we want to pray specifically, and our family especially, we owe. So go in and put your prayer request in there. And if you have any problems, let me know. I can go in and reset the password or whatever, or talk you through it. So this was just our idea in hopes that it could revitalize, and people would go in and say what to pray for. Give us praises. The praises is empty. It shouldn't be. So, yeah. Does anybody have any questions? I go in and I have to like delete them out. Yeah. So you have to go in, or you could just, send me a text or something, say, hey, leave it, it still, applies. But it also helps that when we had our prayer sheet, it was getting really stagnant. Like, stuff was so old that, like the elders would go pray, and you were like, is this still happening? So, we need to redo it and go in every week, please keep praying for this, or I'll delete it and you can do an update, like Amy could go in and say, my dad did have surgery, and this is how I want you to pray this week. Help us be specific and pray, because God wants us to go to him for those things. So I hope it's not overwhelming. I hope it's, simple enough, and it needs to be secure, because, yeah. So if you have questions, please feel free to call me or text me or whatever. We're doing our best to get through it, so it should be simple. And once you have a username, you can get into several pages that are, that way we don't have everybody else looking at them, so.
Oh, question.
No, good question. So when you sign up, all that's really doing is giving you access to get to those pages that have a login. And they don't all. Everybody can get to our Sunday school page, which is good because we've had people go in and look at it and then come and show up and say, hey, get me to, adult 2. So that's, some of them we want people to see. But the other ones, it's just so that you can log in, and it won't be immediate, but it's usually pretty quick. Because somebody gets an email and says, Cheryl Howard would like to be approved. And so I just click approve, and then from then on you can log in. And whenever you want to see it, you would click view prayer requests or view praises. Yes, it's just like it was with the other, correct. Thank you for clarifying that. It's you going. And you could bookmark that, and I don't know how, but when I go in, it offered to remember my username, so you could do that too. Zach? Yeah, so the weekly announcement, we'll go to the web page because we're trying to get everything there. So like the events, I'm trying really hard to keep that calendar updated, like as I find things or see Jared put things on. I try and update as things got canceled or things, on there. So, yeah. Anything else? I know it's new and things change and good for now.
All right, thank you. All right, so with that's the staff updates. Moving into deacon updates. So does everybody have one of the financials? Does anybody else need a financial sheet? Okay. So for people like myself or Steve that look at financial sheets, kind of the nerd types, we look at these numbers and we see a story. So this lays out the actual income statement and budget, both for the budget for last year and the budget for this year. So when I look at this and see the numbers here, there's two main things that pop out to me. So when I was going through the budgeting process last year with Steve in 2023, and we were trying to peg a number for tithing, it's always, you're not sure what to put at those numbers. So I think we were targeting somewhere around a $600,000 end of year for 2022. So we put a 10% increase in there for 660 for a budget, and the tithing came in at 672. And when we put in that 660, we had no idea where that 10% would come from. And it's been a consistent story year after year of God continuously providing through this congregation to take care of the things that we need for our church. And that happened again last year. So that's a big piece of the story. Obviously, the building fund designation of 290, that was a lot of provision and a lot of generous giving from our congregation allowed for that. But the other big part is if you look down at the bottom, just laying out the kind of the balance sheet side of things. So we have $5.8 million of assets as a church. And once we're done with this process of selling land and building this construction project, we're going to have over $7 million of assets. That's amazing. When we first started laying out all these things as a building committee, all the forecasts that I had laid out, all the numbers I had laid out, never were in the range of us figuring out how to come up with a $7 million building. And God has provided in many ways for us to be able to get to this point where we are close to that. Again, story of God continually figuring out ways to provide for us, even though we don't know how that's going to happen. He has figured out ways to make that happen. Other things on the financial side that if I was looking at these, the questions that I would have, so there's some weird things in here for property tax. So when we bought the property, the Ford building, the Ford dealership, which will be our home soon, we received a credit for all the property tax the previous owner had paid. So we had to pay that back this last year. So basically that just went into our account and then left. That's that property tax escrow collected. And then the other item is the building expense rehab. So the 232,000, that is the expenses related to the things that we've needed to do for design, permitting, and the demolition activities that we've been doing every month. That's what that expense has been. When we move into the construction project, that will move into like a construction in progress activity and won't be funded through operating expenses. It'll be something that is put onto our balance sheet. But the way we're handling it now, before we move into the large construction project, we've just been funding it with operating income. Everything else is basically a Steve Johnson special. So every year he lays out the budget, and it's always amazing how close he gets to forecasting out these things accurately. So you can see the budget for 2024 forecasted for 685 of tithing, and then just doing a little bit better than break even on the expenses side. Any questions on the financials? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, whenever you have specific questions, always feel free to pop questions over to us. Okay. All right, so easy enough. Update on the building. So Dave's going to provide an update from the building committee.
Has anybody heard the phrase delayed gratification? How do you think that applies to this conversation? So, obviously a long journey that we've been on. It's like it's just so close. Just move a little bit faster. Dave has been very tested in his patience. Scott and I have had very many conversations about, okay, what can we do to motivate these people? So the Erie property, number one, right, where that one is with the city of Erie right now. Our buyer is fully submitted, and they are doing everything that we could be asking them to do at this point. It's just in the process of the government to do their due diligence and get through it. So the next step on our Erie property over here is city council, or I'm sorry, planning commission meeting, and that is, I think it's the 7th of February. If they get an approval at that, then they have to go to city council. We don't know when that is. If there's something to pray for, number one there, it's that it's 2 weeks later, not a month later. So I think it's February 7th, and then I think it's the 3rd week of February that there is another city council meeting over here. And it would be great if we can get in on that one. After that step, the city is saying they cannot submit their site plan until both of those are approved. And that's because the use of that property is what they're trying to change. If they came in and they were just trying to build another church like we were, that would have been the end of it, and we'd be done as soon as city council approved it, but they still have to have a site plan approved thereafter. So they're getting their use approved first, and the city of Erie is saying after that, now you can submit your site plan for approval of that. So the Erie property contract, though, is the end of May. So that is our target in the sense of worst case scenario. They are fully bought in. Our end game over there, if it doesn't happen any earlier, is the end of May. So things to pray for over there would just be diligence of the city to progressively work through their approvals, and then hopefully that their site plan is ready to go. It's already submitted to Erie. They just need to start reviewing it, and that would happen diligently. But regardless, we're praying that by May 30, how many days are there in May? Yeah, what you guys said. That we will have a check at the end of May for that property, okay? All right, Dacono property. Come and Go, for those that don't know, merged with Maverick. So that is what delayed us in the sense of this process. We reached out to them in early 23, and they said, hey, we're gonna be acquired by Maverick, we need to wait. Then in the fall, that actually happened. We reached back out to them, and they said, we are still go. So They've been very blunt, and I've had very blunt conversations with them too, just to get to the point. But they've been very honest in return and just said, look, we want this, we want the property, here's the money that we're offering you, but because of the merger, we have a lot more priority things that we're dealing with the merger. So when I say patience, that's where David's just had to have a lot of patience and understand that the offer that they have made on that property is higher than anything else that we could ever imagine getting. So, just gently been poking, and where we're at is Scott just signed an updated contract on Friday with Come and Go, and we're waiting for them to sign and return. We've asked them to increase their earnest money in that contract to say that, no, we are dedicated. I asked them to do that, to say, look, we're sitting here patiently, we're gonna wait patiently, but can you give us a little bit more of a commitment? And that commitment was another $20,000 of hard earnest money in March that they are willing to put hard down onto the property, that money would then come to us. They have to go through an approval process with Dacono to do a subdivision. That subdivision is gonna take 3 to 4 months. So we are in that same timeline. In my mind, I'm targeting the end of May for that, right? So pray that the city of Dacono will be extremely diligent as soon as that site plan and the subdivision application goes over, that they'll review that quickly. And they got the same process, planning commission, city council thereafter. So my prayers have been that all of this is gonna align, and that by June, we are going to be ready to go. Because I know Dennis and Randy and Eric and everybody else planning over there, we don't have any more walls to take down. And I don't want them to take any more walls down. So I know that we're diligently working over there and we're keeping momentum, and that momentum is very exciting, and I'm very grateful for that, because I think that's been very encouraging to the church. But this summer is go time. So this summer, pray for that transition to occur, and then it'll be in our court and we'll be actively renovating. Any questions? Yeah. Yep, good question. So we did order the elevator. That elevator is expected, the materials of the elevator are expected to arrive in April. What I'm working on is other materials. So we just updated our entire budget, went out to bid the entire subcontract community again in December, and that was within about $10,000–$12,000 of where it was last March of 23. So budgeting wise, we're well within reason there. So the next thing that I need to order is all the rooftop units, the air handling units. That's gonna be the next thing. So with the cash that we have, we're trying to be as extremely diligent as we can with our contractor to say, okay, by this date, let's get submittals in, let's get them approved, let's get that material coming so that we're ready to go by June. So between now and June, beyond the elevator, Andy, we're gonna try and order other things. Structural steel will be the other one to make those structural upgrades that we have to do, just so we're ready to go as quickly as we can be. I think the cash that we have on hand is gonna afford us the ability to do that. So I'll update everyone. When that elevator arrives, we'll know, because we need to offload it into our new building. So they're gonna deliver it to us, and it's gonna go into our shop, and it's gonna sit there and anxiously await installation. But gotta have the structure to put the elevator in. So good question. Anything else? Does that answer what you guys need to pray for anyway? Yeah, it's to prep to say that we have materials in hand so we can start immediately, not have to wait another 3 months, 6 months, just to wait for them to come in. So I'm working with Himmelman to try to avoid that. Ready to go. Okay, any questions? Obviously, same. If you have any detailed questions, don't hesitate.
Great. Yeah, so let's keep on praying. Pray that we get into that building this year, so that as soon as we can. But let's pray that we're into that building. The other thing from a financial standpoint, just want to say that at the end of the year in 2023, there was a big push of a lot of giving for the building program, so that was awesome to see that thermometer go up. I think we're at somewhere around 193 of giving towards the building fund, so we have somewhere around 300 to go in order to get to the 480 or be fully funded. 280? You did the math for me, didn't you? Okay, so with that, one last item, the ministry opportunity chart. Do we happen to have that on a slide? So we spent a lot of time talking about financials, talking about the building, but why are we trying to get this building built? So this building isn't anything if it's not advancing the kingdom and it's not being used to spread the gospel. And the way that happens is by God working through us, using us as his tools to do that. So what we have done, we have a ministry chart that we put together, I think Merritt may have put this together like 5 years ago, and we update it probably once a year, and it just lays out all the things that are happening in the church, in the context of worship, watch, care, and witness. And there's a lot of details in there, and you see all the specific ministries and all the things that have to be watched over and the details that need to be pulled together in order for Gateway Bible Fellowship to do what it needs to do. So you can see there are places where we are fully booked and the ministries don't need any other people to help. But for the most part, if you want to help at NRBC, there are plenty of places for you to get plugged in. GBF, not NRBC, GBF. I'm going to struggle with that for a while. But the main, I guess, the way this is organized is all the deacons have specific ministries that they oversee. If you're looking for a spot that you'd like to help, talk to one of the deacons, and the deacons will definitely bring up the things that are open. Nathan has been looking for somebody to help out with audio for probably the last 6 months or so. Just kind of looking for some more help there. It's a big, heavy lift. I know Mick had a meeting the other day for visitors, the reception desk, helping with the hospitality group. So be looking. Look for spots for where you can get your hands dirty and where you can plug in to help with all the ministries that are going on at GBF. Okay, any questions on the ministry chart? We'll do a better job of having this up so it's more visible. Okay. Like actually read names? Yep. Yeah, the font is a little hard to read. Good. Yeah, so we are going through the process of getting everything transferred. All the details that need to get transferred related to the name and the website's one of those pieces. Okay, any other questions? Okay, so with that, I think we can adjourn this quarterly members meeting. Let's close in prayer. Brad, can you close us in prayer?